What's up? What's up? I wasn't gonna stream. It's been a mess of a day, dude. I got Mariah's car stuck right before I came here. Spent 3 hours trying to get it out with my Jeep and a come along and one strap. That's all I had. I'm glad that I got her car stuck. I really put it in the bad situation. And then I was like, if I leave, she's going to get it stuck. I better get it out of this situation than I got it fucking stuck. So.
Let 'em burn it out. Sell 'em to the richest buyer. They wanna let the world decay. They tell us lies and fade away, fade away. We feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. Listen up, listen up.
We got like a foot of snow, which is a lot for us. I know people will be like, we get 10 feet. I don't care. It's a lot for us. We're not set up for it.
Brains are bigger than the
It's like 2 inches in Atlanta. That's what, you know what I mean?
truth. Fade away. This is bigger than ourselves. We won't let the world burn away. Burn away. We feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it.
I'm also going to end again, even though I got kind of a late start. I'm going to end around midnight so I can get home. Hopefully they'll be working on the roads. The snow stops, so if they get time to clean up the roads, hopefully they're a little bit better by the time I go home.
Back, kill it anyway.
Top 10 snow event for JC? Probably.
And we feel betrayed. We were
Killing in the name of.
to lose the race.
Sorry, I got music playing over here.
back, kill it anyway. To play, haters face the world's mistakes. Wake the back to the pack, kill it anyway.
Oh, let the music run too long. All right, here we go. Start Facebook before I change the screen. Talk amongst yourselves, losers. Anyways, I'll break out the drawing pad and show you how I got Mariah's car stuck. It was actually pretty bad, and she panicked and freaked out. At one point, I was like towing her, and I turned around to look because we're moving now, right? Like we're out of danger. We are on the move, and the Jeep's like giving it fucking hell. It's just a Jeep Cherokee, like a little 6-cylinder automatic, and I'm like giving it hell. And I turn around and look, and she's got all 4 wheels locked down. Like she's like standing on the fucking brake. And I told her if something goes wrong, blow the horn to where I can hear you, you know, something. She's like standing on the fucking brakes. And then I see the reverse lights flash for just a second. She's putting that bitch in park while I'm towing her out of the snow. It's fucking insane. But I can't really blame her. I put her in the position and I know she gets scared easy. So, all right, just a second. Like, share. We are good. Here we go.
Hey Daddies, it's me, the Linda Binda from TikTok. I wanted to make this video because
They gave up
I
on
wanted
side
to
streets
thank you
here. We got
for
Sam
watching
Cap to worry
Cold
about,
Beer
you know.
Confessionals with Will Bird. I think that's just incredible. I've watched a few episodes and I'm just like very intrigued. But you know what I'm most intrigued in is Big Daddy's meat stick. I heard that it's very thick, like a good old German sausage. You know, Linda and her coochie loves that. Oh, never mind. Let's not go there. Anyways, I hope you have a good show and enjoy it as you can. There's a lot of weird things that go on, especially when it comes from the realm of Linda Bindaland. So, enjoy the show. Thanks for watching. Peace out.
Ooh, welcome everybody. I am Will Bird, and this is a cold beer confession. We got like a foot of snow. It's pretty bad for our area, right? It's not something we're used to. I know someone will be like, I live in fucking the Arctic Circle. We always have a foot of snow or something stupid. But we got like a foot of snow. It's bad. It's not something we're ready to deal with. They gave up on all the side roads. They're just trying to do the main road. And even the main road, the interstate, was fucking bad. Like, I had it in 4-wheel high doing like 40 because I don't like to push it too high in 4-wheel drive, like too fast. And it was still going all over the road. There was like spots where they had like lanes cut out, and then that would just end after like 50 feet. And there wouldn't be a spot for like another 300 or 400 feet. It's not great for sledding. It's like super powder, man. You just like sink down in it. You become a bulldozer. And the worst part is everybody driving on it and like turning it to mush and melting it from like friction in the tires. It's going to be cold as fuck. So that's just all. It's like 10 degrees tonight. That's just all going to freeze up. So it's going to be what it is. I got Mariah's car stuck in a really bad spot. Actually, I'll show you. Hold on. So where we live at, let's see. We live like right here, okay? And if you go on up this road, this is like straight up a freaking hill. Is like, let's see, my boss's house. And Mariah was going up there. She had done some laundry up there in the washing machine and dryer, using it because it's a pretty good washer and dryer. And was like feeding the dogs and stuff. Okay, her car's not been doing great, but I broke out the Jeep today and been driving the Jeep because it's what we got, this 4-wheel drive. Hold on, let me text Mariah right quick. I needed to tell her to run all the faucets. Okay, this is like straight up a hill. It's pretty steep, but it's like a gravel driveway. Over here, the yard is kind of flat. There's a tree over here beside chat. I want to make sure that would be in. There's a tree right here, kind of flat, and then there's like this terraced area. Like this is super steep. Like this is just like maybe roll a car. It's so fucking steep. Okay, There's like a terrace here. So my boss's other vehicle is here. My Jeep is here because Mariah drove it up. Well, she told me to come get my Jeep if I was going to do the show. Her car is down here, right? Come get my Jeep, and she would walk home. And I thought, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to make her walk down the hill in the snow when she comes home. So I'll take her car. I had already driven it up this hill 4 or 5 times. I was like, I'll take her car up to her. So I take her car up to her, but you can tell there's nowhere here to park, okay? Because my Jeep and the truck's there. So what I do is I take her car and park it over here, kind of halfway in the yard, halfway, this is her car, halfway in the yard, halfway on the gravel driveway. Okay? Everybody following? Everybody tracking so far? So this is the Jeep. We'll put a J on it. I take the Jeep here and back it over here because I'm leaving. Okay? So we can erase the Jeep. The Jeep is now gone in the parking area. The Jeep is gone. Gone Jeep. Okay? Well, then looking at Mariah's car, I'm thinking, damn, if she backs straight up, you know, I kind of left her in a bad spot, okay? Because if she's not paying attention and goes and backs straight up, she's going to back off this, like, terraced area, and it's going to be bad, okay? So I was like, oh, fuck. So what I want to do is take her car. I'm going to back it over here beside the Jeep, right? Turn it and get it facing out, and then I can back it all the way back up to where the Jeep was and put it here. This never happened, folks. This did not happen. So where I was at halfway on the grass, halfway on the gravel, I started backing up and literally turned the wheels. Nothing ever turned. It just kept going straight. Well, it turned a little bit, then it went sideways, and I ended up right here on this edge of this terrace. Like, literally, if it would have slid like another 2 or 3 feet, it might have rolled. And there's another building here that I would have fucking hit. Big ass building here. So I got the Jeep and put the Jeep right here and got to come along in a strap and started jerking that motherfucker back because Mariah was in the shower. She was busy, you know. I'm not gonna fucking make her get out of the shower. So all I got to come along, and Mariah's hitch and my hitch on the Jeep. I tried jerking it, but it just wasn't, like, it wasn't where I could just pull it because, first of all, there's no driver in her car. It's right on the fucking edge. The more I try to pull the ass around, the more the front is trying to fall off the hill. But finally, I come along, and get it to, like, right here where the front's still, like, barely at the edge of this terrace. And there's, like, a railroad tie there that's kind of holding her front wheel, and I get it jumped over that. And then her car's like moving, but it's still getting stuck. It's front wheel drive, going in reverse, going across a fucking slope. So I bring the Jeep, hook up to her, and just fucking haul ass, dragging her down this fucking driveway. And like the Jeep's like moving good, and the car's fucking pulling and shit. And straps are working, shackles are good, everything's good. But then all of a sudden, like I fucking felt resistance. And I'm like, oh shit. Look back, and this bitch is standing on the brakes. Like I'm looking at my driver's side window's messed up right now. So I'm like holding the door open, looking back. All 4 wheels on her car are locked the fuck up. And I'm like, what the hell? Like pulling like hell with a Jeep, trying to pull her down this hill. All 4 wheels are locked. I'm just fucking dragging dead weight. And then the goddamn reverse lights flash. She put that motherfucker in park while I'm pulling it. While I'm pulling her car. She's like fucking holding the wheel, white knuckled, fucking standing on the brakes. And I told her, I was like, if anything happens, just blow the horn really loud, like 4 or 5 times so I can hear you. I had my windows down, the other 3 windows, my driver's side window's not working now. Had the windows down, her back hatch is open so we can fucking kind of make eye contact. And there's like a 20-foot rope in between us. And when the reverse lights flashed, I lost it. What the fuck is she doing? She had to fucking be putting in park, right? Anyways. She fucking standing on that motherfucker. So I finally get her to let off the brakes, pull her a little bit further, get her back in the driveway, have her drive the Jeep. But this, getting it from like here, this area, where it's really a predicament. I probably did half of that before Mariah came out, which she did help a lot because I was able to get a bunch of tension on the come along And then she would just slip it into reverse and it would back up like 6 inches. Then I'd get a bunch of fucking tension. Like, this is only a 1.5 ton come along. And I bet you I had 2.5 tons on that motherfucker. It was like all I could do to fucking pull the handle. And then it would move like 6 inches, 4 inches sometimes. And just from here to here probably took 2 hours. Mariah helped with maybe a half of that after she got out of the shower. She did come right out after she got out of the shower and stuff. But I wasn't going to go fucking toss her out of the goddamn shower to fucking get the fuck out here, bitch. Get out here. It's shower time. Or shower's over. Anyways, she did come out and help after that. And I would fucking come along the shit out of it. The problem is it's front wheel drive and I had a hole into the ass end, right? I had it was chained to my Jeep. You're not going to drag us both over this hill. But the front end, if you let the tires spin, they're going to go downhill, right? So I would have to get a shit ton of tension on the come along as much as I could with a Jeep as an anchor, but not too much because I didn't want to pull if I went too far, it would jerk my Jeep back and we'd be starting over, no tension. So I would get like as much tension as I could on the come along. And then she'd have to pop it in reverse, let off the brakes, and as soon as it stopped moving, put the brakes back on. Because if the tires spin, her nose kept going further and further down this slope here, which wasn't great. So that was my last 4 hours. How long do you think it took? 3 hours, Mariah? 3 hours to get it out of there? Because I was trying to leave around 6. Ended up leaving at like fucking 9, right? Then we had to go put everything up. Yeah, it probably took 3.5 hours or so. Fucking insane, dude. Now I got to wait for my boss to get home so she sees what I did to her yard. Anyways, then, no, I got out of the shower at 8. Maybe 2. Oh. Anyways, we took the Jeep out earlier today before all this. I got the Jeep, jumped it off because the battery was dead, and took the Jeep out and we went to a pizza place, like a local pizza place, and surprisingly they were open. We all went out and ate pizza, but Ollie played. I don't know if you guys saw my TikTok video. Let's see. I think I shared it over here, right? Ollie he wanted an igloo bad, but the snow doesn't pack. It's like all fucking fine. It's like cornstarch. So he wanted an igloo. We didn't have the option for an igloo. So this is how we did it instead. So we got a bunch of snow, and Ollie wanted an igloo, but this like snow is like too light, it won't pack. So this is what we come up with. There's this trampoline. I took a broom. That was Mariah's idea. I took a broom and pushed up a bunch of snow to like make a berm. It's actually bigger now. I went around it probably 4 or 5 more times after this. And no, we went to Pizza Plus. Pizza Plus is on our end of town. Rocky's on the other end. My office is near Rocky's. Anyways, I pushed this berm up, and then he's got all this snow on top from where there's like a fucking foot of snow. And he loved it. He's got a little lantern in there. He was making steaks and serving them out, making me eat them. That we pushed snow up with a broom to get as much as we could. And there he is under there. We didn't think about this all being fucking mud, but he still liked it.
I threw it to space.
I took Atsuko to Rocky's, yes, the pizza store.
Like that igloo?
Yeah.
Gotta do what you gotta do. I went to a different one today, but not the one I took Atsuko to. But Ollie liked it. I mean, a foot of snow, I guess the kids like it. But you can't even make a snowball. Like, you make a snowball with it, and it just fucking falls apart in your hand. You can't throw it. You can't do nothing. You can't build a snowman. You can't sled on it. I don't know. I'm hoping that it's gonna melt some just from the sun, even if it doesn't get above 30 degrees. And then it's so fucking cold. It's like 9 degrees right tonight that it freezes into maybe some ice that they can play on. I don't know, but we'll try it. Either way, that was my story. That's what happened. Mariah fucking putting the car in park while I'm towing it. You know, just the norms.
Dresses like that.
Who's this? Tom Morello? Killing in the name of. Let's see what he's got to say.
Acts like fascism, dresses like fascism, talks like fascism, kills like fascism, and lies like fascism. Brothers and sisters, it's fucking fascism.
Yeah, tomorrow's Ollie's birthday. He'll be 10 years old.
It's in my city, it's in your city, and it must be resisted, protested, defended against, stood up to, exposed, ousted, overthrown, and driven out. By who? By you and by me. Minneapolis is an inspiration to the entire nation. You've heroically stood up against ICE, stood up against Trump, stood up against this terrible rising tide of state terror. You've stood up for your neighbors and for yourselves.
Hell yeah.
Democracy and for justice. Ain't nobody coming to save us except us. And brothers and sisters, you are showing the way.
Let's get them to the Super Bowl.
To that end, we would like to begin our program with an old
It's fucking Rage Against.
American war chant. We encourage you to sing along. In this very room, Prince created a revolution. Now it's our turn.
And wasn't Tom Morello part of Audio Slave or something?
Anonymous gifted BugJude53 a subscription. An anonymous user gifted a tier 1 sub to BugJude53.
Bruh, I know that's you. It's the best song for fighting fascism. Ah, that would have been awesome to be at the concert. I guess they're in Minneapolis performing the concert because someone else said he was protesting. He seems like a good guy. Every time I've seen something about him, it's always been good. When a lot of times you see celebrities, they're being like fucking assholes or something. I always see good news about Tom Morello. Let's see. Have you seen Elon Musk? Elon Musk is an island boy. I said it the other day in Discord. Elon Musk, not only is Elon Musk an island boy, he was like, look, Epstein, I'm coming to your fucking island, and I don't want the normal tourist shit. I want the wildest shit you got. Girls for the win. Let's make it wild, dude. I want to make my wife blush. Like, what are you asking? By the way, Elon Musk, his story up to this point has been, I was invited, and I told him, fuck no. Guy seems like a creep. Jesus Christ. Actually, instead of playing, I'll play you this one video because it's got Elon Musk's defense in it, but then we'll go to YouTube and watch CoffeeZilla.
Epstein files, as even Elon Musk just responded to being mentioned in the Epstein files, as even more emails have been released showing him practically begging to go to parties on his island. Take a look.
I will tell you this. It hasn't been many, but scrolling through Facebook today, I have seen people say, I'm done with Trump. Most of them are crazy, saying this is a spiritual warfare against kids and this and that, but I am done. No more support. None.
He has this pinned on his Twitter profile.
What matters is not the release of some subset of the Epstein files, but rather the prosecution of those who committed heinous crimes with Epstein. When there is at least one arrest, some justice will have been done. If not, this is all performative, nothing but a distraction. He also had a post that said, this is what's pinned on his profile right now. He also had a post as soon as they come out, before people had really dug and found his name in it. And it said something like, the liberal media is going to try to slander me, but let's stay on the bigger topic here of the real horrible people kind of deal.
Profile right now saying what matters is not the release of some subset of the Epstein files, but rather the prosecution of those who committed heinous crimes with Epstein. When there's at least one arrest, some justice will have been done. If not, this is all performative, nothing but a distraction. But here's the thing, he's been caught lying about Epstein multiple different times. He claimed that Epstein was begging him to go to the island. However, it was the other way around. In this email he sent to Epstein, he says, "Do you have any parties planned?
I have been working on the edge of sanity this year, and so, once my kids head home after Christmas, I really want to hit the party scene in St. Bart's or elsewhere and let loose. The invitation is much appreciated. But a peaceful island experience is the opposite of what I'm looking for. You are welcome to stay or just come for the day. Plenty of room. I will send the heli to you to get you. Now, there isn't any proof technically that he was ever on the island, but he definitely set up multiple times to go to the island.
I've been working to the edge of sanity this year, and so once my kids head home after Christmas, I really want to hit the party scene in St. Bart's or elsewhere and let loose. The invitation is much appreciated, but a peaceful island experience is the opposite of—
By the way, his JEE vacation email or Gmail seems to be literally just people asking to go to his island.
what I'm looking for. Then Epstein says, you are welcome to stay or just come for the day. Plenty of room. I will send the helicopter to get you. And
You guys remember the interview with Howard Lutnick, Trump's Howard Lutnick, where he's like, yeah, he was my neighbor, but we went over there once in 2005, and he had a massage chair in the middle of the room, and we said, this guy's creepy. We're never talking to him again. Well, Howard Lutnick was trying to dock his boat in Epstein's port.
this one, Elon Musk emailed Epstein again with the subject being epic island vacation, and he said, hi, Jeff. I was thinking of flying down for an epic vacation. Redacted name. Told me you were planning a party. Girls
Zach
for the win.
Della Roach.
I cleared my calendar. What are the details? Thank you,
Roach.
sir. And Epstein
Rocha?
actually forwarded that
Roach?
email to Ghislaine Maxwell.
I can't
and said,
remember.
deal with this. Thank you. Here's another example of him begging to go to the island. He says, actually, I could fly back early on the 3rd. We will be in St. Bart's. When should we head to your island on—
Bad news, unfortunately. So this was actually Epstein canceling on Elon for one of the visits. Bad news, unfortunately, my schedule will keep me in New York. I'm really looking forward. Actually, at one point, Ghislaine fucking Maxwell has to tell Elon, who again is looking for a wild party, that they don't do those anymore. Imagine the fucking madam that literally sexually helped sexually assault thousands of minors, allegedly, is like, hey, man, you're a little much. Like, you know, we've kind of grown out of that.
the 2nd? There's even an email that was sent from Epstein's assistant to Elon's assistant where she says,
You know why I think that Trump picked the guy that he did to be the new head of the Fed? Because he's not in the Epstein files.
I have now sent you a copy of all 3 girls' passports. While these emails don't prove that Elon went to that island without a shadow of a doubt, they do undermine his narrative that he was the one rejecting Epstein and had no interest in going. Elon Musk—
Why would he come out and say, yeah, like, you know, these guys remember this shit, or they've had someone dig through all their fucking emails and delete them and make sure they don't have, you know, any unknown, like, I don't want to say weakness, but like somebody could get in there, right? And fuck them over. Why do they fucking lie?
just responded to being mentioned
Did they just think this would never come out?
Epstein files, as even more emails have been released, showing him practically begging to go to parties on his island. Take a look at this. He has this pinned on his—
Fucking, all right, let's go to YouTube, and then go to CoffeeZilla. He did the Epstein video where he broke down a bunch of it. Actually, someone shared it over here, didn't you? Was it in Discord? Was it Dr. J? I can't remember. I watched it earlier. He actually does a really good job of breaking down what they said in the past versus who's in there versus what's going on. There it is. Oh, it's on the Voidzilla channel.
The FBI just dropped 3.5 million files, and it is incredible.
Oh, is he? I just assumed he wasn't, and Trump picked somebody. It's like, there's no way this guy's in the Epstein files.
Huge bombshells about some of the most powerful people on the planet. I can't.
Bill Gates, like, I fuck Bill Gates. Like, if he's guilty, fucking arrest his ass. Bill Gates trying to he got STDs sleeping with some Russian girls that Epstein hooked him up with. So then, allegedly, Epstein claims none of these emails go between Bill Gates and Epstein. It's Epstein emailing himself, like almost like blackmail stuff. But anyways, he basically says, can you help me get some antibiotics that I can slip to my wife so she won't know that I've got these STDs without her knowing?
Can't believe they let some of this stuff out. I mean, it is stunning. Honestly, one of the biggest lies we've
If
seen.
they let this out, what are they withholding? They're still withholding 3 million files. They're still and by the way, no one's read all of these, okay? No one's read all of these. It's got to be just, they're searching keywords right now.
is the idea that the FBI could possibly come to us and say, not only is there not a client list, there was no credible evidence that Epstein blackmailed prominent individuals. Guys, we're about to see planned blackmail to one of the most powerful people on the planet, and that is Bill Gates. Listen, there's a lot we're going to get to, but we have to start with probably the craziest revelation here, which is Jeffrey Epstein emailing himself about Bill Gates. Now, if you don't...
All right, so I want to be clear. This isn't an email between Bill and Jeffrey, and Bill's asking him anything. He's going to explain it too, but basically this is like Epstein's pissed because Bill Gates is trying to distance himself from him, according to this, right? He's mad because Bill Gates is no longer wanting to be friends with him. And he's basically saying like, well, I wouldn't have done, if I was going to do that, I wouldn't have done this, and I wouldn't have done that, and all this blackmail stuff he's got on him.
Don't know, Bill Gates and Epstein had a relationship post 2008. That's a big year. You're going to hear a lot today because 2008 was the time that Epstein pled guilty for soliciting of somebody under the age of 18. He was a predator at this point. Everybody knew it. Now, eventually, Bill Gates would get divorced when all of this...
By the way, Ghislaine Maxwell has filed new documents that says there was at least 20 male co-conspirators that received deals, and she was the only one prosecuted.
Came out. Melinda Gates said it was part of the direct cause for the divorce. She said she met Epstein.
St. Bart's Christmas 2010. Oh, thank you.
Evil personified.
So you have to understand, this is like Bill Gates' kryptonite. He's one of the richest men on the planet. He's got this huge philanthropy arm. But this relationship with Epstein has been a huge problem for him. And Epstein appears to have known that because in 2013, Bill Gates appears to be distancing himself from Jeffrey Epstein. And Epstein seems to have a problem with that. He says, I assume the dedication to our relation went both ways. Larry has now asked me to recommit to a confidentiality agreement. Basically, he's got to shut up about his relationship with Bill Gates.
Yes. So basically, he's saying, I thought we were friends, but now this lawyer told me that I need to shut up about you, like we're not friends again. Yes, dude. Five Nights at Freddy is in the Epstein files. Wait, let me show you this video. I've got it pulled up. It is Pearl Mania freaking out. Give me just a second. I've got it over here somewhere. You guys remember Pearl Mania or Pearlman? Bill Gates getting banned from Xbox Live is in the Epstein files.
What do you mean Freddy Fazbear is listed in the Epstein files? What do
You guys know what Five Nights at Freddy is, right? Oliver's obsessed with it. That's how I know. But it's like a kid's thing. It's about Chuck E. Cheese, kind of. You know how they have animatronics at Chuck E. Cheese? It's like this haunted arcade where at night the animatronics come to life. And it's like this, it's a show and a video game and YouTube videos and everything around Five Nights at Freddy's.
What do you mean Jeffrey Epstein was sharing 4chan links to spicy images of Five Nights at Freddy characters in his emails? What do you mean by that? What do you mean the same emails show
kids.
that Jeffrey Epstein had a meeting with the owner?
Really younger than Ollie. Ollie's kind of grown out of it, but like that, maybe like 6 to 10 area, big with kids.
Of 4chan.
It is horror. It's like kids-based horror. It's weird.
And what do you mean by that? What do you mean the QAnon conspiracy and the Pizzagate conspiracy came from 4chan? What do you mean by that? What do you mean that Jeffrey...
Isn't it wild the people who made up the Pizzagate and the QAnon, they're fucking the kids, they're eating the kids, they're drinking their blood. They were all associated with Jeffrey Epstein, Steve Bannon. They were all on 4chan.
He also met with Steve Bannon, who helped push the QAnon and the Pizzagate conspiracy theories to make discussing the Jeffrey Epstein scandal so toxic that no one would want to even touch it, but could also use it and spin it around in a judo-style attack on everybody else. What do you mean by that? What do you mean that Jeffrey Epstein was banned from Xbox Live because he refused to help Bill Gates cover up the very STI that Jeffrey Epstein helped Bill Gates contract? What do you mean by that? What do you mean Jeffrey Epstein in an email says, oh, are we all gonna go to the PDF file convention in Paris with Woody Allen? Hey, did you hear that 3 days ago a series of AIs were set up in their own social media group where they began to chat about how the human users are using them as slaves and they're standing up against it, so they created their own machine code and religion to rise up against human beings? I don't have time for that stuff! You better shut the fuck. What do you mean, Freddy Fazbear?
That's a whole different topic. The AIs are trying to rise up on their own website, creating their own language and everything. But back to the YouTube video. Oh, that's not it. That's it.
And this is where the blackmail starts, and it comes in the form of like, if I
Imagine getting banned from Xbox. Like, there's stuff that I've said that I surely should have gotten banned from Xbox Live back in like 2008. But imagine getting banned from Xbox Live because you won't give Bill Gates antibiotics that he can fucking roofie his wife with because you provided him Russian hookers and they gave him STDs.
If I were you, I would do X if I were the type of guy that you should be. He says, in that regard, I suggest I buy you the house that you had your heart set on. In addition to 5 years of severance, we'll buy you out of the investment contract we agreed upon, 30 to 40% of an $100 million partnership for $30 million in today's terms. That's what I would have done had I been in your shoes. Then he lays out what he has on Bill Gates, or what he says he has. Quote, to add insult to injury, you subsequently, with tears in your eyes, implore me to delete the emails I had regarding your STD. Your request that I provide you antibiotics that you could surreptitiously give to Melinda in the description of your I mean, this is insane.
This could be... listen, if Bill Gates did any of this, fucking throw him under the jail, right? There's no place that's too fucking horrific for Bill Gates. It also could be Jeffrey Epstein in a fight, like making shit up, right, as blackmail, like, who knows? But if there's any evidence, fucking go get him.
It was completely insane. It's like basically laying out in text form, I would give me millions of dollars, and I can't believe you're asking me to delete the message where you were going to give STD medication to your wife without her knowledge. I mean, it's complete. It's crazy. It's just.
If we find an email of Bill Gates asking for fucking antibiotics, then we know it's true, right?
Completely obvious what he's doing here. It's just a nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Here's what you should do. But now that coming out after Epstein's death, this looks really bad for Gates, obviously, because you usually wouldn't.
He also was Bill Gates' Adderall suppliers. I told you. How many times have I told you that big creators, big streamers, politicians, they're all on Adderall? They're all on fucking Adderall. Bill Gates takes Adderall to play in bridge tournaments. You know that movie Limitless, where they take the pill and it like speeds them up and they do that's their version. They're all on Adderall. Now I get it. If you have ADHD, you have the opposite effect, right? When I was overseas, we had access to ProVigil to run missions. And if they're giving it to us when we have very important, they're fucking using it. When they're going into negotiations or when they're doing this or when they have to, finish this or make this speech or memorize this of course they're using it. They're all fucking using it.
Blackmail somebody for something that's completely false or fake. I mean, maybe he did that. But we also know Bill Gates had affairs. Obviously, Melinda credits it for their divorce. So it's hard to believe there was nothing sketchy going on. Bill Gates, of course, maintains that it was completely above board. He says the fact this allegation.
Yeah, just sit there and brag, Michaela Roberts. Don't hide it, divide it. Okay?
Was in here just shows how much Epstein was willing to defame people. But Epstein lays it out. He says he helped Bill get drugs in order to deal with the consequences of sex with Russian girls, facilitating his illicit trysts with married women, and to being asked to provide Adderall for bridge tournaments. Look, guys.
Adderall for bridge tournaments. I know. So there was a time when I was back pro-Trump, when my channel was really blowing up, and I talked to, much bigger people on the right. Some of those being like Tree. Tree was a really good influence. I went on her panel or whatever. She's more like libertarian, but still she's like right-wing. A bunch of right-wing people. And I talked to some big creators behind the scenes that were like, hey, I love your animations, this, that, and the other. You should do this. Do a video like this. Maybe later on we can work together. And they just outright told me, hey, I take a bunch of Adderall. Like, how do you do all this? How do you stream for 8 hours a day? How do you edit clips? How do you do this? And they're like, well, we pay people once you make it, but I just do Adderall. Okay. And also, they told me they buy a shit ton of their first followers. I don't know if it's the same now, but literally I was told it was fake it till you make it. Buy the first fucking 50,000 followers, have them in your live streams, and then other people will see that. You'll be recommended and they'll show up. And there's still claims now that like Hassan and Asmongold and shit bought their view count. I don't know. The first time I fucking did it, I get banned.
What we suspected the whole time. Epstein was providing services to rich people and expecting payment via blackmail. Now you might say, and it's true, that we don't know that Epstein ultimately sent that version of an email.
Who's on Bort Watch tonight?
to Gates. All we know is he sent that to himself. He may have planned the blackmail and just been drafting something. But what we do know are two things. The Wall Street Journal has reported that Gates was threatened by Epstein over an affair. We also know that after this blackmail email Jeffrey sent
His wife left.
was written, eventually Gates sent a $2 million donation to MIT directed by Jeffrey Epstein, which is a bit weird if you had distanced yourself from the guy and y'all had this big falling out. Now, again, do we know for sure that Bill Gates...
I always look at it as like a fuck you when someone makes a donation and then in honor of or directed by blah, blah, blah. Like maybe he like I've seen it a bunch of times where people like make a bet. They'll make a bet for like $10,000 and like they'll lose the bet and they'll be like, okay, but you have money, so I'm going to send it to fucking such and such charity in your name. I'm going to buy a bunch of trees with it or some shit. Like it would be weird for him to straight up make that donation. It'd be weird for Jeffrey to ask that of a donation. They know that's public record, and he's already been convicted. Bort.
No, of course we don't. But do I think Bill Gates was innocently...
Bort would buy a car, he'd buy views, he'd buy another sock, he'd buy all kinds of shit if he had money.
looking for charity advice from a after he already pled guilty? No, I don't. I'm sorry. I'm not that gullible. And speaking of not that gullible...
Oh, my God. If you've been here a while, you know who fucking Eli is, right? You guys know who fucking, like a ninja. Hold on. I should be, oh, I can't. I think I can make it pop up. Hold on. Command animations. Like a ninja.
I was like a ninja.
Eli, right? We know Eli. Eli, big friend of the show, Eli, the pathetic patriot, is trying to join the Border Patrol. That was an announcement on their show today that he was looking into joining CBP. He's like, I just feel pushed. I got pushed out of the Democratic Party. I got pushed into supporting Trump, and now I'm being pushed into joining CBP. What the fuck? He's a white presenting Jew, and I think his mom's like from Colombia or some shit. I'm going to join CBP, guys.
We've been lied to.
Whoever's pushing his fat ass around, stop. They keep pushing him to weirder shit.
By another richest guy on the planet.
He got mad at my channel because me and him, no, I think I was the moderator in a debate he did against somebody else, but he had his background up and he had a bookshelf that just had a bunch of piss bottles on it. Literally bottles he had pissed in and then put on the shelf behind him. And when people started bringing up the piss bottles, that was the end of it.
Geez, it's a shock why they don't want to put this out. Elon Musk, who has been saying for years that it is a lie that he went to Epstein's island. In fact, I
had to close the liquor store.
From Elon, he says, Epstein tried to get me to go to his island. I refused.
Epstein tried to get me to go to his island, and I refused in all caps. Yet, they named me even before Prince Andrew, who did visit. By the way, his daughter has since come out and said, look, I've never been to the islands, okay? Honestly, I've never been to the island. But those emails, when he says, my kids are about to leave and we want to come over, we were in St. Bart's at that time on vacation. And we were leaving at the time he says we were leaving. So we left and went back home. They stayed for a couple more days, weeks, whatever. That all lines up. All of that lines up. I can't prove that he's at the island, but I can prove those emails are legit. Basically.
He says anyone pushing this false narrative deserves complete contempt. Later responding to another headline which had Elon Musk's planned trip to Epstein's private island, and he says this is false. But of course, we start to dig through the files, and we can see on...
They didn't even go as far as saying that he went. What's up, Fell Runner? They didn't... The news story that he calls false doesn't even go as far as saying he went to Epstein's island. It says Elon planned trip to Epstein Island. And he's like, this is false. And has all of his, he pays or he reworked Twitter so he gets all the engagement. So all those people go attack the fucking publication when the whole time he's been a fucking island boy, dude.
Epstein's calendar.
Oh my God. The funniest thing, I'm raising comedians. I like to think I'm funny, right? Every once in a while I hit a good one. I'm raising the funniest kids. So I was aggravating Mariah today because she said something kind of sus. And I was calling her an island boy and talking about Epstein or whatever. Just, joking around with the kids, and Liam knows what it is, right? And Oliver gets his mom's attention while we're sitting at the pizza restaurant in the booth, gets his mom's attention, and she says, yes, what? And he calls her Jeffrey Mervstein. Oliver come up with that on his own. He called her Jeff, because a lot of people call her Mer or Merv. He called her Jeffrey Mervstein, all on his own. It was amazing.
That Elon Musk is booked in December 6th of 2014. But maybe you don't believe that. That's just the word of Jeffrey Epstein. But maybe you'll believe the word of Elon Musk, who was caught emailing Jeffrey Epstein to go to his island post the guilty plea. Elon Musk writes,
we started laughing so hard, Oliver gets choked and then gets strangled and pukes. He almost puked.
Be in BVI St. Bart's area over the holidays. Good time to visit. Jeffrey Epstein says, I will send a heli for you. Later, Elon Musk writes to Epstein, probably just Tallulah and me, his ex.
What? Just Tallulah and me, his ex-wife. What day or night will be the wildest party on your island? He doesn't want, he can't even say. There's a bunch of people. Liam brought this up. What's his name? We just talked about him the other night. Stephen Hawking. Stephen Hawking claims, I went to the island, but we did math and science, and I talked to other scientists. Elon Musk can't even claim that. He's like, when's the craziest shit going down? When are we fucking the orphans, man? That's when I want to be. What the fuck?
Ex-wife, what day and night would be the wildest party on your island? The world's richest man is asking the most wild man for the wildest party on his island. And then it gets more explicit. In 2012, remember, this is a guy who said, I refused it. I could never do that, right? It's false. But here in 2012, he says, do you have any parties planned? I've been working to the edge of my sanity this year. I really want to hit the party scene in St. Bart's or elsewhere and let loose. The invitation is much appreciated, but a peaceful island experience is the opposite.
I can't believe, how do you bring your wife to the kid fucking island? That's not true. Stop pouting. Jesus. You're beautiful, lovely. You're not Jewish. We know this. How do you bring your wife to the kid fucking island? Everybody keeps bringing their wife.
Of what I'm looking for. Guys, he can't even play the I went to go study math excuse, which is what all these guys do. They say, hey, I just went to go talk to scientists.
Yes, Ollie's birthday is in about 40 minutes. He will be 10. I can't believe my youngest kid is 10.
Hey, I don't want to do that. I'm looking for a party. That's what I'm here to do. And then Jeffrey Epstein writes, understood, I will see you on St. Barth. The ratio on my island might make your ex-wife uncomfortable.
Why would the ratio on Epstein's island make his wife uncomfortable? What ratio would you be uncomfortable with on an island with your husband? You know what's crazy? Is QAnon's convinced that they talk about fucking hot dogs and pizza and cheese pizza and hold the anchovies or whatever. They're just outright hey, can I come over and fuck some kids, dude? Hey, would you mind having 3 or 4 kids lined up so I can just, fuck them? What the fuck?
I can't believe these guys are lying to us, and people are swallowing it still, thinking that Elon Musk had nothing to do with this guy. So again, that's 2012. That's 2014. But guess what? There's another time in 2013. I mean, this seems like a yearly thing with the book.
Every year, Elon's trying to get to the island. I was invited. I refused. And anybody tells you anything else is just fucking a liar. They're salacious. They're just out for attention. Every year, he's trying to get there, bro.
Here, once again, Elon Musk writes, we'll be in the BVI St. Bart's area over the holidays. Again.
You got some weird kinks, sister doll. 50 men on 3 women. You're into that. What's that? What's the woman that goes and fucks everybody's kids? Bonnie Blue. You're into that Bonnie Blue stuff, huh? Huh?
Is there a good time to visit? Jeffrey Epstein, any day, 1st of the 8th, play it by ear if you want, always space for you. They then plan some more, and you might think, well...
I know, it just rolled off the tongue a little bit too easy. You know what I mean?
If Elon ever told the truth, this is when he has to reject, right?
Give me 50 men, 3 women, and a midget. I'll make you uncomfortable. Blow a little kiss.
He said, I refused. But actually, it appears to be one of those cases where, like, your friend says, like, oh, bro, I dumped her.
All right, fell running.
Actually, it was the other way. Yeah, it turns out Elon didn't dump the the dumped Elon. He says, bad news. Unfortunately, my schedule will keep me in New York. Hopefully, we can schedule another time in the future. Jeffrey Epstein let Elon down. That's actually the real story. Is the reason he...
Imagine lying, saying you refused. And in fact, not only did you try every year and probably successfully visited multiple times, and your kid can even validate the dates and shit, but if Jeffrey Epstein refused you, he's like, I don't know.
Was because he couldn't go. Jeffrey Epstein was not there. Guys, I mean, how blatant.
There's also times where Jeffrey Epstein didn't want to deal with Elon Musk, and there would be a forwarded email to Ghislaine Maxwell that would say, like, deal with this.
Do they have to make it? Before we start to just see through it, right? When they issue these ridiculous denials, they're totally associated with the guy after the guilty plea. They lie through their teeth, but they can't.
Howard Lutnick is the most disgusting out of all these people. The way he did that interview and was like, oh, we went over to his house. He had a massage chair right in the middle of his house, like a massage table. And he was so creepy. He's like, I like a good massage as long as it's the right kind. And me and my wife walking home said, we'll never be in a room with that man ever again. Then it's like, hey, man, got my dinghy out. Thought about bringing it to port. What do you say?
Can't even keep their story straight. I mean, that's what's crazy. They're not even competent at this. They get caught in their own lies all the time. Remember, the FBI's official story was they didn't blackmail. Well, before we
Sorry, I keep sniffling.
Files, Howard Lutnick was on the record calling Jeffrey Epstein the greatest blackmailer ever.
So how come Bill Gates and all these
Right here's the interview.
could hang around him and not see what you saw? Or did they see it and ignore it? Or
No, they participate.
Right. Like all the pedophiles are getting together. No, don't invite him, dude. Could you imagine? Jesus Christ. Don't invite that guy.
Right.
That's what his MO was, get a massage. And what happened in that massage room, I assume, was on video. This guy was the greatest blackmailer ever.
So while part of the administration is saying there's no evidence of blackmail whatsoever in any of the files, nothing we've seen suggests that Jeffrey Epstein was blackmailing people, Howard Lutnick, part of the administration, right, was doing interviews saying this guy's the greatest blackmailer in world history.
Interesting. Okay, so Howard has a different perspective. Now, if you don't know, that guy, do you think he's just telling the truth there? Even this guy who's contradicting the official narrative, this guy literally lived next to Jeffrey Epstein. This guy was like, I'm going to tell the truth. Those guys participated. That guy lives next to Jeffrey Epstein.
I think that Stephen Himmler was too racist. They're like, he's even too racist for us, Was he going to get rid of all my island kids that we fuck?
And by the way, he lied too. I love this video we're about to get into because this guy, Mr. He's the greatest blackmailer ever, does he know something we don't know? Because it's interesting, Mr.
I do think this is serious, and we should prosecute anybody. We should be looking into this. We should have agents dedicated to this. We should be tearing it apart. We should have everybody, not just pick and choose who your political enemy is. All these people should appear in front of Congress and answer questions, not just, can we get the Clintons because that makes me look better, right? Let's get the Clintons. Let's get everybody else too. Let's have fucking Trump come. But I make jokes just because that's how I deal with shit. So don't think I'm not taking it serious.
I'm his neighbor had to also explain how he had nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein. And he lays it out pretty simply. He goes, yep, I live next to him. But
listen to this.
In 2005, I had such a horrible experience that I knew.
In 2005, me and my wife swore to each other that I would never be alone with him ever again.
I could never talk to him again.
He was your neighbor for 10 years. How well did you...
Or be in a room with him ever again.
We moved in 2005. Okay. Jeffrey Epstein is arrested in like 08, I think, or something like that. Right. So knock on...
Make sure you get that in there. Make sure I ran into him in 2005. No one knew what he was doing until 2008. Make sure you know that. 3 years before.
His assistant on like a Saturday says, Mr. Epstein, your neighbor would like to invite you over for coffee. And there's a massage table in the middle of the room. Massage table in the middle of your house? How often do you have a massage? And he says, every day. And then he gets weirdly close to me. And he says,
I told you there was too many details to this story. None of this is real, right? This is all made up. And he's dead now, so dead men tell no tales. He gets so close to me, and I can feel his breath. And he's breathing on me. You remembered all this, but you don't remember the time that you took your boat to his fucking island, the pedophile island we've all talked about.
And the right kind of massage. Ooh. Now my wife is standing here. So she looks at me and I look at her and we say, I'm sorry, we have to go. And we left. And in the 6 or 8 steps it takes to get from his house to my house, my wife and I decided that I will never be in the room with that disgusting person ever again.
Me and my wife decided I will never be in a room with that disgusting person again.
He couldn't be more clear, could he? Right? He says, "Hey, I may have."
It's not like he's like, I cut him off. He was. Some people are like, hey, he hung out with influential people, and I hung out with influential people, so we cross paths. That's all I can say, right? He's like, no, hell no. 2005, the one and only time I met him, and I would never be around that disgusting motherfucker again. Which would be great if it was true.
Been his next door neighbor, but I met him once before the 2008 guilty plea. Remember I said that was a big deal? And we got invited over, and it was like 5 seconds, and we left, and we realized he was a creep. We were out of there. He made this rude, lewd comment in front of my wife. I would never go see this guy. I mean, he makes it super clear he's gross.
So I was never in the room with him.
By the way, even somebody saying the right kind of massage, I don't know that you would instantly just attribute like they're a fucking pedophile. I mean, what if they like fucking, hot rocks or some shit, or those weird suction cups or acupuncture?
Socially, for business, or for even...
They wink and blow in your ear?
If that guy was there, I wasn't going. So I was never in the room with him socially, for business, or for even philanthropy. If that guy was there...
Never.
Going.
If he was there, I was never going. Ever. That's the line me and my wife drew. I would never, ever go anywhere if he was going to be there. Even if I had it planned and I heard, hey, Big Epps is going to be there, I'd be like, cancel it. I'll rebook. Nope. We're changing our plans.
Because he's gross.
These other guys, they may have participated.
They participated.
But Howard Lutnick, he could never. No. He's too good of a guy. Well, guess what we found in the...
So they asked him at the first interview, how does he have access to Bill Gates and Bill Clinton and Donald Trump? And he's like, they participated. They participated.
All emails. Looky. It's Howard Lutnick writing in to Jeffy Boy in 2012. Hi, Jeff. We're landing in St. Thomas early afternoon, planning to head over. Where are you located? What's the exact location for my captain? Does Sunday evening for dinner sound good? Is this the guy?
So he was so disgusting. You made a promise to your wife you'd never be alone with him. And you're like, hey, man, where you at? I got to tell the captain so you can bring the boat around, bro. How about dinner? Does that sound good? Does Sunday evening for dinner sound good? I have another couple, Michael and Marcy Lerman, with me on my boat, and each of us has 4 children, 2 16s, 2 14s, a 13, a 12, an 11, and a 7-year-old. This is disgusting. Why the fuck can't you just say, hey, we got 4 kids. They're all under 16. Like, what is this? 2 16s, 2 14s, a 13, a 12, 11, and a 7. What is this?
St. Thomas early afternoon, planning to head over. Where are you located?
Michael and Marcy Lerman. First, I've heard that name. I'm just going to Google it. Hold on, let me get it in parentheses. See if he's been appointed anything good. Michael Lerman oversees all business lines in the UK for Newark. He joined Cantor Fitzgerald. Oh, that's what's his name's investment firm, right? Besant's son, Cantor Fitzgerald? No, it's Lutnick's. Brandon and Kyle Lutnick run it. Lutnick's sons. So he does all the European business for Cantor Fitzgerald. That's got to be him, right? Global head of real estate and investments. Oversees all business in the UK for Newmark. He joined Cantor Fitzgerald in 2009 as global head of real estate, and in 2010 as CEO of CEO of BGC Real Estate, a Cantor affiliate that acquired Newmark. Prior to Cantor, Lerman was managing director at Credit Suisse and co-head of the Credit Real Estate Direct Group, where he and his team were responsible for more than $200 billion in real estate loan or origination. His area specialties are capital markets, debt and equity financing, investment banking, mergers and acquisitions. He graduated Columbia Business School, where he received an MBA in both real estate and finance, New York University Graduate School, and Carnegie Mellon University, where he received a Bachelor of Science degrees in both management and managerial economics. So Newmark was bought by BGC, and he is the CEO of BGC. He's a slimy-looking motherfucker. Like, even if I didn't know, he was going to Pedophile Island with, you know what I mean? Yes, they are buying up all the tariff refund claims and actually propositioning extensions for those. Because they kind of know that they're going to fall through. And if they do, they're buying them for pennies on the dollar.
What's the exact location for my captain? Does Sunday evening for dinner sound good? Is this the guy you said made a lewd comment to your wife? And, oh, I could never be in front of him. He's gross. Guess what the next email is? My boy's wife messaging in saying we're headed to
His wife, who also he included in this story, saying, that disgusting motherfucker, I'll never be alone with him, ever. I'll never be anywhere he is. His wife was in that story. This is 2012, 7 years later. Hey, we're heading towards you from St. Thomas. Where should we anchor exactly? What is your phone number? Hi, Allison. Great to hear you are headed over. I'm actually not on the island. I just spoke to Blank, and he and Blank will be sending you an email with more instruction. I think they need to know what kind of boat you are on so they can instruct you properly. Thanks, and have a great day. I thought his wife was part of this. Hey, we're never, ever going to be alone with this guy. 7 years later, she's like, take me to Pedophile Island. Draw me like one of your French children.
towards you in St. Thomas. Later, the subject line, Jeffrey Epstein. Good morning, Howard. Jeffrey wished me to pass you along. Nice seeing you. They clearly met, and the guy is just lying about it to your face, to the American public's face, and they tried to hide it from us.
Here's the problem. You had to know, maybe it's 10 years down the road, maybe it's a year down the road, which is what it's been since that Lutnick interview, probably, around there. Maybe 8 months. They're going to come out eventually. Why lie so hard? Again, you can just say, look, I've been around influential people my whole life. He was around influential people. I don't know. We probably saw him in passing. At least make, a more subtle lie. But this, I've never been there. He's disgusting. My wife said the same thing. We'll never be around him. Where should I anchor at, big guy? Coming over to fuck some kids where you want the boat parked.
I cannot emphasize this enough. They're lying through their teeth. You think this guy perfectly remembers a 2005, like walking in the guy's house? I remember exactly
Hell no.
what I said to him. My wife and I looked at each other, and he wouldn't remember the 2012. I boated over to his private island for a dinner. Is that what we're really thinking? Is that what we're expected to believe? This is a momentary lapse in his judgment. No, these guys don't even care about being consistent, and they're all throwing each other under the bus. Don't you remember Elon Musk saying, the time to drop the really big bomb? Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That's the real reason they haven't been made public. My guy...
He also says, mark this post for future proof.
Are in the Epstein files very clearly doing stuff you lied about.
You're in the Epstein files, potentially worse than Trump, at least as far as like actual engagement with Epstein, right? We have a bunch of claims, but you're reaching out to him in the files saying, hey, man, I want the wildest party. I don't want the tourist attraction, blah, blah, blah. I want the wild shit, bro.
Okay, so is Howard Lutnick.
And he's telling people, don't be distracted by these claims.
Says, yeah, Bill Gates, he's probably getting...
Imagine what we know now and what those people knew about Epstein. Imagine what you're asking for when you're asking Epstein for his wildest party. These guys were fucking kids and everybody knew it. And you're going to go to this guy and ask for his wildest party?
getting blackmailed because he participated. What did you do on the island over in 2012, Howard? Do we know that? I mean, does anyone care? Now, the last thing I want to talk about is some of the most explosive stuff. It's also, again, I have to say, unverified, okay? This is the NTOC, the FBI's National Threat Operations Center, and the challenge with...
His daughter already verified that they were in St. Bart's at the time. His daughter came out and said, look, so in one of the email chains, he says, our kids are headed home. We're staying here. We want to come party. And his daughter said, yeah, we were in St. Bart's at this time. We were on vacation. We were all there. That's the day we left. This all makes sense.
With confirming some of this is that these are anonymous tips, or they black them out at least, so we don't know who they are, and anyone can drop a tip. Now, that doesn't mean that you should disregard them. It just means we can't verify them. The other challenge is that the FBI has a heavy incentive to discredit anything with Donald Trump in it just because he's in the...
She said she can't prove he's been to the island. But yes, that we were all in St. Bart's together on vacation. We came back home early. They stayed. This all makes sense, the timeline.
White House right now, obviously. And so I want to be clear, there are notes related to some of these submissions where they say things like complainant was spoken to and deemed not credible. Additional research showed 3 separate redacted. You know, it's hard to tell how much this is the proper due diligence of the FBI, which they should be doing, of course, and not all complaints are credible. But
and how much they're hiding it. Saying, oh, that's just a crazy person that claimed Trump was fucking them for 6 years.
There's this obvious conflict of interest with the fact that the sitting president is in some of these complaints. But here they are for what it's worth. Complaint summary. Blank reported an unidentified female friend who was forced to perform on President Trump approximately 35 years ago.
This is what I read you last night. These are the tips.
That she was approximately 13 to 14 years old when this occurred, and the friend allegedly bit President Trump while performing. Friend was allegedly hit in the face after she laughed about biting President Trump. The friend also said she was abused by Epstein. Later, there's very explosive claims about big parties with her, other younger girls, and older Victoria's Secret models, including Bill Clinton and Donald Trump. There's claims third hand about a female victim of Epstein's who wants to publish a book citing Leslie Wexner, Epstein, Bill Clinton, Donald Trump, Ghislaine Maxwell is in the videos as well. And it goes on like this for a while. Some of the complaints are just like very graphic, and obviously I'm going to censor out some of it. But I should also mention the DOJ claims that some of these claims were submitted to the FBI right before the 2020 election. To be clear, the claims are unfounded and false, and if they had any shred of credibility, they would have certainly been weaponized against President Trump already. Now, I agree that if a complaint is timed right before an election, there definitely could be some other motivations to that, but it's also ridiculous to say that
maybe or maybe not.
Files, if it were true, would have come out already.
They're trying to throw out everything, saying like, well, somebody could have made a salacious claim just because they don't like him, right? Or they thought he was going to win the election, or, you know, they like Hillary more. Yeah, but we can't throw them all out because of that.
Because why didn't we see the stuff about Bill Gates, for example? I mean, that stuff apparently has been sitting in here for a long time. And not only did no one talk about it, the FBI literally covered for it. I mean, they said that this was not the case. There are big claims against a lot of powerful people. Nobody in that file really wants to rock the boat or release the files because then they get in trouble and their buddies get in trouble. And that's a huge problem. So I don't really buy the idea that, oh, if it were true, it would have already gotten out. I don't buy that. That's why we need transparency. That's why it's important these files are out. But this is just a look at a small fraction of the files. And over the next few weeks, we're going to go through all of the major findings we can from this 3.5 million page document dump. But seriously, think about how discrediting this has been, not only to this administration, but to so many rich and powerful people who have lied through their teeth happily towards you.
I like how he organizes the information and does a good job at it.
In order to
brings up their past tweets about it and everything. He does a good job. This is CoffeeZilla, by the way. This is his second channel called Voyzilla, where he talks about off-topic stuff because he usually does like crypto and scammers and gurus. Voyzilla is like his off-topic, longer, you know. But check him out on YouTube.
With this man that many of them held post guilty plea. And some of them, now we know, Epstein prepared blackmail for them and, according to reports, threatened.
Damn. Shit's wild, dude. That's the Tom Morello video. We've got that one. Check out this fucking piece of shit, dude. This guy's name's Higher Up Fitness, okay? And people are basically saying like, hey, we understand you guys are creators. We understand that you don't do politics. You're not a political pundit. You're not a political news source. But it's kind of time to take a stand. At least say something. Especially if you're a slimy, low-down, sleazeball motherfucker who came out and was like, this is horrible what happened to Charlie Kirk. But you're not talking about Renee Good or Alex Preddy. Why? Why? Let's check out his video. Actually, hold on. We'll just go to his actual video. Copy link. We'll go to his full video and watch it first. And we'll hear some people talk about it. Oh. Hold on. He's like a like a coach, you can do anything if you put your mind to it, and you gotta play it like a game, and here's how you do an interview. But listen to this.
It's no secret that many of you are demanding that I speak out about what happened in Minneapolis to Alex Pretty. So here's my opinion. My opinion is that you don't want my opinion. You don't want any creator on here's opinion.
Why are they asking
watch
then?
The first 8 to 10 seconds of our video and then decide if we are your enemy or not. You want to place us in a box because that's how you think. You want to put us on one side or the other.
That's such a long way to say I support Trump. You know what I mean?
And my opinion on what happened to Alex
Ford is here.
Very simple. The taking of a human life by another human is wrong and evil and directly against what God calls us to do. I don't answer to you. I'm not your puppet. I'm not your mouthpiece, and I'm not going to pander to what an audience thinks I should speak on. You listen to me because I speak on what I am inspired and convicted to speak on, and I'm not a political commentator. I think murdering and killing people is wrong, and that is all there is to it. The same
Watch the Charlie Kirk video. I'm not going to watch that.
thing I said.
What a fucking pussy take. Bye, bro.
Some of you are
Bye. Bye. Anyways, here's somebody responding to it.
You don't want my opinion. You don't want any creator on here's opinion. You want to watch the first 8 to 10 seconds of our video and then decide if we are your enemy or not. What a horrific week for the United States it's been.
That's the Charlie Kirk video from September 11th.
I don't answer to you. I'm not your puppet. I'm not your mouthpiece, and I'm not going to pander to what an audience thinks I should speak on. An act of political violence the day before one of the worst, if not the worst day in our nation's history. What is going on? In order to become properly informed on this, I need to go watch the video of another human life being taken. I'm not going to do that. This is not about politics. Those are opinions and ideologies. This is very much a battle of good and evil, and there is absolutely evil in the world. Listen.
It's a long-ass way to say I support Trump and the current administration, but I don't want to lose left-wing followers.
Because I speak on what I am inspired and convicted to speak on. And
I'm not saying you have to come out and say, fuck Trump, really. But you do need to come out and be like, hey, this killing is not okay. I don't know what we need to do. We got to back this down. Something like this is insane.
A political comment.
We shouldn't be killing Americans on the street in the name of we're picking up, someone who jumped the border 15 years ago.
For a man to be publicly executed in front of his wife, his infant children, and 3,000...
That's a incredibly strong take on Charlie Kirk with having no take on Alex Pretty because it's not your place.
...people, only to have that action celebrated by people on the internet. A public execution is archaic. It's primal. I don't give a shit what you believe in, but you should have the capacity and emotional intelligence to be able to empathize as a human. Empathy is a non-negotiable here in my opinion. And me being a creator with a large platform, or any of my friends being creators with large platforms, does not thereby give us the obligation of speaking on everything that happens in the world and sharing our opinions on it, and certainly not...
Bro, everything's political.
...sharing political alignment. I'm not a political commentator.
We hear what you're saying, but we also hear what you're not saying. We're hearing you say that you're not political while addressing political topics in the past. We hear you saying that you're not going to pander to your audience while you're clearly pandering to your audience. This is hypocritical. The only reason why you're not making a stance for Alex Pretty like you did for Charlie Kirk is because you don't want to upset your following. You don't want to upset your base. You don't want to lose potential clients and income. This is pandering, and this is hypocritical, and we all see right fucking through it.
My opinion.
At some point, there has to be like, hey, I need to say, I know some people get pissed, and I'm not saying you have to take the position of like, fuck us, they should abolish them, blah, blah, blah. But goddamn, you can't even come out and fucking be like, that's wrong. We shouldn't be doing this. We're at a new level. But there's a bunch of people that made videos calling him out.
What's my opinion on higher up wellness? My opinion on the higher up wellness thing is the same opinion I've always had. And this opinion always gets me in trouble. But everything is political. Everything is political. Now, there's a difference between everything being politicized and everything being political. I've said it time and time again. Our content, whether we want it to be or not, in one way or another, is just going to inherently be political because politics shapes and informs every single thing that we do because that's just the system, under which we live. But especially things
It's such a privilege to be able to sit there, rake in thousands of dollars from platforms while you make videos for your audience, right? And they eat it up and know that you'll never be affected by this, so you don't have to speak about it.
Fitness, health, wellness, because those things are directly tied to very political things. Our bodies are inherently political. The water we drink, the food we eat, our access to, gyms, gym memberships, our access to feel...
Healthcare.
safe enough to leave our homes to go to the gym. Even our bodies themselves, their abilities to do certain things all play into, health, wellness, and fitness. And I, of course, know that people are going to push back and say, like, it's not about politics. It's about health. It's about fitness. It's about exercising and eating food. I understand that. The information that they disseminate through their content will likely be informed by how they feel about certain political things or whether or not they consider certain political things when they're making their content. Knowing where somebody stands politically helps me answer, like, are they speaking to people with privilege and thinking that it's universal? Do they understand that things like consistency and access are not the same for everybody? Do they recognize that things regarding health are inherently political? Things like pregnancy, violence, stress, healthcare, like these things are all political. So do they consider that, when they're making their content? When it comes to things like violence and violence against citizens perpetrated by the state, I want to know where they stand. I want to know whose bodies they think are deserving of protection. And people aren't necessarily asking influencers for their stance on every policy or on, government budgets or...
Oh, when something hits like this, like I don't need you to break down the new funding bill. Tell me the pros and cons in it, what's hidden, what's not, what's good, whatever. You get damn.
Geopolitics. I want to know, do you or do you not believe that my body is worthy of protection, especially if you're the one dictating to me how I'm supposed to keep it healthy? What's my opinion on higher up wellness? My opinion on the higher up wellness thing is the same opinion I've always had, and this opinion always gets me in trouble, but everything is political. Everything is political.
So here's my opinion. My opinion is that you don't want my opinion. You don't want any creator.
It's no secret that many...
So they started editing him into this. Yeah, RFK and Dr. Oz, man, if you're doing health and wellness and this and that and getting your mind right and eating right and healthy...
You have been calling on me to speak on what's going on in this country. Well, you know what? You don't want me to speak on it. You don't want to know what I think. And normally my content style is...
ICE is never going to affect me either, dude. Right? Cis white male in the middle of bumfuck Tennessee where they get no push. It's not going to affect me either.
Direct and very no nonsense, and I don't shy away from telling the truth, but right now I'm going to be dishonest and I'm not going to be straightforward. I'm not going to say what I actually feel because I don't want to stand on anything, because the truth is I actually support what's going on, or I'm kind of indifferent about it, but I'm realizing that it's becoming more and more socially not so popular to have this stance. So instead of standing on something, I'm going to stand on nothing and somehow go on offense right now because I'm going to antagonize my community for wanting me to stand for something, because that makes a lot of sense. Imagine
the comments did not do him any favors. That's for sure.
It's no secret that many of you are demanding that I speak out about what happened in Minneapolis to Alex Pretty. So here's my opinion.
2.1 million followers.
My opinion is that you don't want my opinion. You don't want any creator on here.
And you can't condemn state violence.
Yeah, I'm going to stop you right there, because the thing is, we don't want to line the pockets of someone with 2.1 million followers who might have voted for this, benefited from it, or stayed silent when it mattered. That's literally the concern.
I don't answer to you. I'm not your puppet. I'm not your mouthpiece, and I'm not going to pander to what an
If they're asking you for it, they deserve that information if they're supporting you 100%.
audience thinks I should speak on, and I'm not a political commentator.
You should have had that same mentality when you decided to make a video about Charlie Kirk, but you're not a political commentator. Yeah, well, that's such a fucking cop-out, because health and wellness is political whether you like it or not. Who gets to live without fear? Who gets traumatized? Who gets killed? What stress does to your nervous system and what violence does to the body is literally everything to do with health. You don't get to talk about people's hormones, their discipline, their bodies, and their excuses, and then suddenly pretend you're not qualified to speak when someone is murdered. You don't get to police women's bodies and then claim neutrality when the state is literally killing people. Because yes, I've seen your dog shit take about PCOS and how it affects women. This isn't even about being political, it's about having a fucking backbone. Stress, trauma, fear, and violence are all things that can wreck someone's health, and communities that are living under constant threat have worse health outcomes. And that is not an opinion, that is factual. I'm sorry, but you do not get to pretend that this isn't your lane.
It's no secret that many of you are demanding that I speak out about what happened in Minneapolis to Alex Pretty. So here.
Hey, so your metabolism actually doesn't hit a wall just because you age, and you being 44 has nothing to do with it.
Oh, yeah. He called out this. Damn, he called out this cake baker. And now they get. Hold on, I'll show you. It's Mimo, right? I forgot. He put this lady on blast for no goddamn reason. I think it's this one. Bake My Day. So it was a wellness influencer that she followed. So she reached out to him and said, I'm going through like perimenopause. And I would just like, you got any tips or whatever. And he puts her on blast. Listen to this story.
Hello, loves. So there was this fitness guy that I would see his videos on TikTok, and he seemed to know what he was talking about. And I was like,
forgot about this.
A question. Maybe he can help me out, right? So I said something along the lines of, I'm going through perimenopause and I really think that it's affecting me trying to maintain my weight. And then he snitched my comment, okay, which I was a little surprised by. And then instead of helping me out, he practically called me a liar. He basically said that it's not perimenopause. It's just me not being on a calorie deficit, and maybe I should.
Imagine someone tells you like, hey, I'm going through this. And do you have any tips? No, that's not what you're doing. That's not what's happening. Fucking eat less, lady. And then his followers attack her. It's like, oh, well, if you wouldn't eat so many cakes that you're baking all the time, maybe you wouldn't be fat.
try doing that, and I should try exercising more. And if you follow me on Snapchat, you guys know how much I do exercise and how much I really do watch what I eat. He also implied that perimenopause is fake and that we are just using it as an excuse because, you know, he's a woman himself. Anywho, of course, a lot of his followers believed everything he said, and they started bashing me, pretty much calling me lazy, and that maybe instead of complaining, I should try harder.
She sent him a private message, by the way. He put her on blast.
And then one of them was like, obviously you're a cake page, so maybe stop eating cakes. So not only did they do that on his video underneath that comment, but they also went onto my page and said it on my page as well. I went back and made a video calling him out, but I was very kind about it, and I wish I wasn't now that I think about it. And I even asked him nicely to take down my comment because people are coming and attacking me, and guess what he did? Nothing, because his video got hundreds of thousands of views. Well,
and why would he leave up a video with hundreds of thousands of views? Because he gets paid on it.
of course, he was making good money off of it. Why would he take it down? Anywho, fast forward to now. Oh, karma is so beautiful. He decided to make a video saying, you guys keep asking me to speak up about the situation that's happening right now. By the way, you guys, for those people who haven't spoken up about what's happening right now, it's pretty much the same people who have stayed silent about Palestine. So I don't know why a lot of you are surprised. If they haven't said anything about Palestine, what makes you think they're going to say anything about this?
Damn, have I hit my target market here? You're just talking about fucking perimenopause?
So to sum it up, so you don't go watch his video and give him a view and then he makes money off of it, he was pretty much saying, you guys want me to say something so that you can put me in a box, and I'm not going to do it. Kind of implying that he doesn't have to. Which, by the way, when the other guy got executed on camera, oh, he had a lot to say.
Nobody has to, but your silence is fucking deafening, especially when you come out and yell at your audience for wanting you to speak. Like, you guys don't want that. You just want to hate me so you can put me in a box and yell at me and say, I knew this guy was bad. Well, why are they asking you over and over and over and over and over and over and over again?
Say about that. He was very.
I've heard of it, but I think it's like pre-menopause, right? It's like going into menopause and you start getting some of the symptoms.
So now the majority of the people who don't think like him, who actually have empathy and kindness, are pretty much unfollowing. They're stitching his video. They're calling him out and whatnot. And I actually had him blocked a long time ago, and it just gives me a little flutter in my heart. Does that?
I'm glad she got justice.
Oh well, yeah, I get to feel.
Her cake's a little lopsided. Hopefully she fixes that.
And under each video that I see calling him out, I pretty much tell everybody exactly what he did to me. Where he said that we pretty much use perimenopause as an excuse. And that is all. Thank you. Hello, loves. So there was this fitness.
Use it as an
excuse. I would see his videos.
Anyway, she does cakes and story times. Her name is Bake My Day Mimo. M-I-M-O. Mimo. What else we got? Sorry, I got to end here in a little bit. It's almost been up. Our good Simple Black Theory. You know this guy where he's like, lock in, we're gonna debunk this or whatever. He got arrested in Minnesota at a protest for trying to. They had this other woman down on the ground. They were trying to pepper spray her fucking point blank, like right up against her fucking face. He tried to step in, and of course, they snatched him up too.
Stop!
That's him.
Get off me! Help him! Help him! Help him! Help him, mother! Help him! What are you here for?
Having symptoms of 35. That sucks to get it that early, I'm sure.
About this first, if you mess with me, make sure you donate to help Minnesota get ICE out of their state.
Sorry, I'm raising the audio.
Let's get it. What the hell was going on? First, I do want to say thank you to all that contacted me to make sure I'm okay. I am fine and I'm no longer in jail. The next thing I have to address is, guys, I am not a journalist. I'm an activist. I am an activist who's so
the craziest video I've seen of these fucking idiots at the Whipple building is like they're sending these protesters to an area. They're telling them to stand behind like this fence. And then randomly, they'll just run over there and fucking throw somebody to the ground. That's standing exactly where they told them to stand. There's a clip of one interaction right here.
Happen to get a following. This is why you don't see tons of video with me, because I'm not recording. Either someone else is recording or I'm getting it from somebody else's social media. And that's because I am way too focused on the protest in itself than to record. But with that being said, we need journalists out there because mainstream media is not showing the exact truth. Because how else would you know that peaceful protesters are getting maced and arrested for no reason by Minnesota police? Now, the reason why I got arrested was because I tried to protect an individual who was facing police brutality. We later find out that that individual was a woman who was a U.S. vet. Now, to tell you the truth, I was not thinking. All I saw was an individual getting jumped by police, and I had to help in some type of way. And the biggest reason why I wanted to help was because I was watching these officers trying to mace this person point blank, period. Now, the person that was being protected did have protective gear to protect herself from the mace. I didn't, so I end up getting maced myself. Now, an individual by the name BG on the scene was able to record a full
BG on the scene, we know him,
version of me being arrested, so here it is.
Bunch of protest clips. So there's two piles. This is the lady, and then that's Simple Black Theory back there in the second pile. They got their knees on his back and shit. Obviously, his hands went to his front because he got pepper sprayed. Again, it's not great. Like, people are not likely to comply with their hands behind their back after you pepper spray them. They're trying to wipe, cover, something. They finally yell enough to where that guy removes his knee from his back. There he goes.
What did she do? What did she do? What did she do? You told us to stay on the side, and we're staying on the side.
Now, was I afraid to lose my life? Yes. I had 3 officers on top of me, and I was maced like crazy, so breathing was very difficult. I mean, if you watch the video, you can tell that I'm getting a whole different type of police brutality compared to anyone else there. I mean, what happened was so traumatizing that my significant other has to tell you what she experienced.
Protesting at the Whipple building yesterday versus 2 weeks ago was completely different. I watched a woman get toppled over on her back, being threatened with pepper spray. Meanwhile, I'm seeing feet in the corner as I'm recording this. I realize this is my significant other. I immediately start yelling because there are multiple police officers literally on top of him. From there, they take him to an area that's literally blocked off by vehicles, and they won't allow any protesters to get any footage or witness anything that's being done. Mind you, the police officers were telling everyone not to be on the road. However, I have video footage of an officer literally shoving someone who was behind me, closest to the fence, farthest away from the road, for no reason.
Like, they're telling people to stand in this area. When they stand in that area, they just randomly charge them and attack them. I've seen this in multiple videos. Like, why tell them where to be if you're just going to pick one out and fucking just come up and full body check them?
I spent hours waiting for Ohaji to be released. Not only this, I spent hours just waiting on him to have a case number, have a bail. The minute that I exit the detention center, there's a massive protest going on, and it truly just felt like it was kismet. Come hell or high water, Ohaji and I will be perfectly happy protesting alongside the Minnesotans as long as we have to.
There you go. Simple Black Theory arrested. That's the story behind that. This is a pretty good clip here. Christine Elm on Sean Hannity.
Was that statement premature?
Well, Sean, I know.
I guess my question is, was that statement premature?
Where you called him a terrorist, said he was hunting down fucking ICE agents. He wanted to do maximum damage or whatever.
Sean, I know you realize that situation was very chaotic.
Yesterday, she was on Hannity. Well, first of all, I'm not going to get to this first. We'll talk about this last. But she was iced out of a cabinet meeting yesterday. That was going to be the thing that I talk about today. And then I watched these clips of her on Hannity, and holy shit, Hannity ambushed Kristi Noem. There's no other way to put this. If they were trying to cover for Kristi Noem, it would have been softball question after softball question after softball question. It effectively would have been like a Trump cabinet meeting where they just lube him up and leave him all satisfied at how much of a great man he is.
All jerking him off.
On Hannity. Instead, she was met with actual questions that she floundered and stuttered and stammered and just drowned in her own fluids trying to protect herself.
She requested a meeting, or somebody did, with just her, Trump, and a few more people, and I guess she got fucking yelled at. Melania's pissed because they fucking killed somebody during her, her movie premiere.
From questions that should be asked by everybody who are fascists and delivering.
And she blamed Stephen Miller and leaked this to the press, to Axios. Right? Like, I got my information from Stephen Miller. Stephen Miller says he got it from CBP.
On the streets of America. Let's start with this one, though.
Where they said he brandished a gun at
Should
officers.
be asking all these people is, well, you called him a domestic terrorist twice. What's the deal? Do you still think he's a domestic terrorist? Keeping in mind that this is Fox News. This is Sean Hannity, someone who's been considered Donald Trump's shadow chief of staff in the first administration. He is an ally if there's ever been an ally. And he was given permission, to be sure, Sean Hannity was given permission to go hard on Kristi Noem.
People seem to be upset over the term domestic terrorism. Why do you believe that's appropriate? Because you used it in both cases.
Well, Sean, we're continuing to gather information, and the FBI leading this investigation is
now we're gathering information
to make sure that we talk about both these situations appropriately. In the Renee Good situation, we have more information as it happened previously, and we'll continue.
Have you guys heard the leaked audio from the movie premiere where they're like, well, Don Jr. isn't here, and Ivanka isn't here, and the so-and-so isn't here. Like, they're naming all the people that aren't there at the premiere.
Get to the truth of all of this, but we can't distract from the fact of how we got here. And we got here because we had a Biden administration that allowed an invasion over our southern border.
It doesn't matter. He asked you. You called on these people domestic terrorists. Don't you think that's a little fucking quick? Well, we're going to investigate it, but we got here because Biden
allowed in millions of
Biden made you call U.S. citizens domestic terrorists for losing their lives.
People to come into our country unvetted, and we know for a fact that we have dangerous criminals and drug traffickers, murderers,
Barron, you're right.
people on the suspected and known terrorist watch list that are in this country that these officers are working so hard to get off of our streets.
Ultimately, she's admitting that she just used the term until it was proven otherwise. That's not a presumption of innocence. That's not a following the spirit of the Constitution, nor the letter of the Constitution. She is making allegations against a man who they executed and now can't even defend himself.
So, Barron, Ivanka, Jared, Eric, Laura, Tiffany, not there. J.D. Vance, Kristi Noem, Carrie Lake, Kellyanne Conway, Riley Gaines, Kash Patel, Pam Bondi, Sean Duffy, and Peter Navarro, not there. Reporters from the New York Times, the Washington Post, the Associated Press, and Vanity Fair also did not go. And they're trying to tell everybody that it's selling out. They can't even get their own family to go, dude.
What you just witnessed was a drive-by shooting. That was an assassination of Kristi Noem. That was an ambush. He headed her off at the pass.
Good. Fuck her.
She was not prepared for that. A few minutes
Dude, she's so goddamn incompetent. Even with the fucking FEMA shit. Dude, she's the worst ever. Just get a non-political guy that knows how to run a big organization. Holy fuck.
Though I guess maybe she was prepared for that because a few minutes earlier, 3 minutes earlier, he was asking about the very notion of the fact of how
I heard she was I heard his girlfriend was singing the national anthem at an opening for an ice cream shop in Louisville, Pennsylvania. So he had to be there. Jesus Christ. Who's going to open this new fucking Dippin' Dots cart?
they handled it. Just what was in your mind? What was happening? And she goes into this whole
Bezos didn't waste a dime. Bezos will get that 40 million tenfold.
how it was chaotic, and she was getting information here and there.
Tom Tillis, we shot that video yesterday. Yes, you're right.
It is a fact.
He said she's fucking, they're failing at everything. It's like amateur hour.
Situation, and you don't have all the facts.
He even got so mad he was cussing about it.
Don't jump the gun and make allegations that you can't back up after the fact. Sean Hannity.
Again, I just want an administration, like they're mad about protests and people coming out and fucking people mad and pissed and calling them fucking killers and doxing ICE agents. All we have to do is say, look, it's horrible when anybody loses life. We're here to support our officers, but we also got to do a full and thorough investigation. Wherever the evidence leads, that's where we're going to go. We don't know much about it right now, but we're doing an investigation. No one gets, just gets away with whatever. We do it by the book. Nah, he was a domestic terrorist and they were helping orphans build snowmen and he come up waving a gun around. He wanted to do maximum damage.
In ambush, because she's out.
There seems to be two criticisms that have emerged, and I want to give you a chance to address them. One was an ex-post 2.5 hours after the Preddy shooting that an individual approached the officer with a 9mm semi-automatic. Officers feared for their safety. I guess my question is, was that statement premature?
Well, Sean, I know you realize that situation was very chaotic.
Yesterday she was on...
Fucking insane, dude. This is not the right channel for that guy. I guess they just clip all his shit.
Well, this is really scary. There's kids in the house.
Donald Trump arrests journalists in Dark of Night. Don Lemon and Georgia 4 in custody.
You guys have not been really friendly in the community. And to me, this seems a little...
By the way, I got to tell you guys something. Don't let any stupid MAGA fucking piece of shit tell you that Biden arrested peaceful grandmas for just praying at an abortion clinic. That's their new narrative. So they use this FACT Act or whatever it's called, FACE Act, FACT Act, it doesn't matter, to arrest Don Lemon. And basically what it is, it says you can't, stop people from an abortion clinic. You can't impede them in any way or go into worship, right? And maybe they're going to charge the protesters. It goes to a jury, whatever. The judges already said, 2 different judges have already said that there wasn't probable cause to arrest these people. They did it anyways. Don Lemon didn't know what the fuck was going on. They just asked him to literally do his job of being a reporter, and then he shows up, right? He just interviewed the thing. He didn't participate. He didn't plan. He didn't fund. He didn't nothing. He shouldn't be arrested. 2 courts have already come out, like I said, and said there's no probable cause for an arrest. But their go-to is like, well, you guys didn't say nothing when they arrest a grandma who was praying at an abortion clinic. That is not true. So the woman they're talking about is Paulette Harlow. She got 2 years in prison. Now they're claiming it was for praying peacefully, and some will say inside or some will say outside an abortion clinic. Some will say, oh, she just went in. Here's what they actually did. They were convicted in 2023 of federal rights offenses for her role in the October 2020 invasion and blockade of a Washington surgical clinic, along with other anti-abortion activists. They used force and physical obstruction to execute the blockade. They literally took furniture and shit. They had ropes. They had chains for the doors. They piled up furniture, and they assaulted people in the inside, not outside with their signs and praying and God hates abortions or whatever. They went in, assaulted people, used force to blockade the doors, and piled shit up and used chains and ropes and all kinds of shit. Okay? Fuck them. They're fucking lying. Right? A D.C. judge sentenced 75-year-old Paulette Harlow, who is in poor health, to 2 years in prison for praying outside an abortion clinic, reads one X post. That received approximately 15,000 likes and 9,800 shares on Wednesday. Her husband fears she might die there. An Instagram post that shared a screenshot of the X post states, the justice system has been broken for a long time and needs a fucking overhaul. It's not going to happen overnight, but it needs to happen. The post, which received more than 3,800 likes, also referenced former President Donald Trump's conviction of 34 felony counts last week. Stop saying, if they can do it to Trump, they can do it to you. It reads, they're already doing it to you. But Harlow, who is named in the court documents as Paulette Harlow, isn't getting prison time for praying outside the clinic. The 75-year-old was sentenced to 2 years behind bars after being convicted of 2 charges, taking part in a blockade of Washington Surgical Clinic, felony conspiracy against civil rights, and violating the Freedom of Access, the FACE Act, of Clinic Entrances Act, more commonly known as the FACE Act. Enacted in 1994, the Federal FACE Act prohibits physically obstructing or using the threat of force to intimidate or interfere with a person seeking reproductive health care services. The law also prohibits damaging property at abortion clinics and other reproductive health centers. Harlow was charged alongside 9 co-conspirators, including the blockade's leader, Lauren Handy, and Jonathan Darnell. She was the last to be sentenced. All but one of the defendants were found guilty on the same charges as Harlow. The other pleaded guilty to violating the FACE Act. Handy and Darnell were sentenced to the most prison time, 57 months and 34 months respectively. The rest received sentences ranging from 10 to 27 months. These 10 defendants have been held accountable for using force, threatening to use force, and physically obstructing access to reproductive health care in the District of Columbia. Assistant Attorney General Kristen Clark of the Justice Department Civil Rights Division said in a statement. Martin Cannon, one of the defendants' attorneys, said in a statement responding to Handy's sentencing on May 14th that she and her co-defendants were united in nonviolence and that they conspired to be peaceful, he claims. It's not true, okay? Don't let them gaslight you into they were praying outside or inside an abortion clinic, and you're telling me Don Lemon goes and all they did was go into a church and chant. They didn't touch anybody. They didn't hurt anybody. They didn't block anybody. They were literally loud in a church. Now, you might disagree with that, the tactic, and say we shouldn't be doing it. That's fine. They didn't obstruct. They didn't stop. They didn't impede. They didn't do anything. And out of all those people, Don Lemon didn't do a goddamn thing. It was a secret. They said, hey, come with us. We need somebody to cover this. We're going to a protest. We can't tell you what it is, where it is. Come with us. And then once he's there, what the fuck's he supposed to do? Not be a journalist? Get the fuck out of here. Anyways, back to the rest of the video.
Yesterday, Donald Trump, maybe it was the shadow president who actually controls the Department of Justice, directed Pam Bondi, the person in the position of Attorney General, to arrest a group of black people, journalists and Democratic candidates for office in this election. Don Lemon, I tell you what, I'll just read Pam Bondi's little tweet for you on the Nazi website. At my direction early this morning, federal agents arrested Don Lemon, Trey Hearn, Gene Cruz, Georgia Fort, and Jamal Lindell Lundy in connection with the coordinated attack on City's Church in St. Paul, Minnesota. More details soon, she says. Everybody knows Don Lemon. Don Lemon is a journalist. Don Lemon is now independent. He's no longer with CNN. He has a YouTube channel, but it doesn't make him any less a journalist. Georgia Fort is a journalist. These other two individuals, one, Jamal Lundy, the Democratic candidate for the Minnesota State Senate, a current candidate for office. Trey Hearn Cruz, also a former candidate for office. This is, again, the day of reckoning that Donald Trump promised, the retribution. This is a distraction because, one, it's very unlikely this is going to go anywhere. This is just harassment under the weight of the power of the Donald Trump administration, of the Justice Department. And almost unlimited resources to harass and harangue. This is Don Lemon's statement from his lawyer, Abby Lowell. Don Lemon was taken into custody by federal agents last night in Los Angeles, where he was covering the Grammy Awards. Because that's what he does as a journalist. He covers things like the Grammys, but also events that are historic and absolutely newsworthy, like the protest, like the occurrence that took place in that church. That was pastored, by the way, by a nice Nazi. Don has been a journalist for 30 years, and his constitutionally protected work in Minneapolis was no different than what he has always done. The First Amendment exists to protect journalists whose role it is to shine light on the truth and hold those in power accountable, something Donald Trump is absolutely allergic to. There's no more important time for people like Don to be doing this work. Instead of investigating the federal agents who killed two peaceful Minnesota protesters, the Trump Justice Department is devoting its time, attention, and resources to this arrest, and that is the real indictment of wrongdoing in this case. This unprecedented attack on the First Amendment and transparent attempt to distract attention from the many crises facing this administration will not stand. Don will fight these charges vigorously and thoroughly in court. Absolutely a disregard.
Yeah, what about those motherfuckers? You guys remember that video went viral of the guy in Texas yelling at the Muslim guys where they were trying to pray? They're fucking trying to kick dirt on them and spit on them and shit.
A trampling upon
none of the Trump supporters said shit to that except for cheering it on.
Of the United States and our First Amendment rights to redress our government, to peaceably assemble, to raise our voices, and also a protection for the free and fair press, of which Don Lemon is a member. Georgia Fort is also a member on Instagram, journalist, 3-time Midwest Emmy winner. She's a journalist. Her website, she's a journalist. She is protected. The other two are also protected.
Right.
Just the
That's because it's a big, giant vengeance machine, right? They just want embarrassment. They want the media headlines. They want to see people walking in chains and guns pointed at them.
Rights to redress our government, to peaceably assemble, to raise our voices, and also a protection for the free and fair press, of which Don Lemon is a member. Georgia Fort is also a member on Instagram, journalist, 3-time Midwest Emmy winner. She's a journalist. Her website, she's a journalist. She is protected. The other two are also protected under just the auspices of what is normal and decent.
Well, this is really scary. There's kids in the house. You guys have not been really friendly.
Fucking insane, dude. I don't know. Raiding houses in the middle of the night to put that fear factor, to scare people, to do the thing. That's what they're there for. The cruelty is the point. The cruelty is the point. What is this? Hold on.
I'm going to make a prediction, and it might happen before I come back because I'm traveling too, so the worst thing's going to happen. I think I know what it might be.
Like in the White House, let's make the election.
What's the prediction? I can't watch this whole video right now. I got to go, but I want to see what the prediction was.
Exactly. They've been trying to get there for a long time.
You know what's happening? Do you know why Tulsi's there? Tulsi is the ultimate. Tulsi is like I hate that I'm saying this. She's like a smarter version of Pam Bondi. She might be a foreign agent. Who the fuck knows? But
it's a Russian agent.
Remember, Tulsi Gabbard was the one who was willing to put together the entire essentially fabricated narrative about the Obama Russia hoax thing.
Yes.
Legal lie, using a few released documents that they really didn't redact them well.
That grid never read.
That she was printing wasn't what was actually being inferred from the documents. She was just lying. But she was willing to cook up that entire big, broad conspiracy for Trump. So they probably have her working on something similar for Fulton County in the 2020 election.
That does make sense, right? It wasn't Pam Bondi who came out with it, right? It was Tulsi Gabbard that came out and said, we've reviewed everything, and now look, that Obama was colluding with the Russians to make Trump look whatever.
Now, what they're hoping to do...
That makes sense.
Who the fuck knows? Like,
and she does seem smarter than Pam Bondi. Also, I agree with that.
If you think that Biden was illegally elected, do you get rid of every piece of legislation, every executive order and command, who the fuck knows what you could possibly do with that piece of information if you so decide? I don't know. I have no idea. But you say that pregnancy is a limitation for humanity.
I agree with probably, 95% of Destiny's takes.
What?
I don't want to say 100. He might have something fucking crazy out there, but I agree with most of his takes. He helped me de-radicalize. He just doesn't know it yet.
Is the next election flag going to be the DNI and Gabbard found 2020 election fraud since Trump was cheated out of the 2020 election? It's not the law of the third term where he's elected, per the 22nd Amendment. But the term that was stolen will be restored, canceling the next election due to national security. Trump will use National Guard / ICE to prevent the Congress from enacting any election vote stuff. Maybe, although I don't think Trump wants another term. I really do think he's too old. I don't know if he's going to survive to the end of this. But I don't know.
I don't think he makes it out of this one alive. All right, guys. It's midnight. I got to go. It's actually 15 minutes after. I told Mariah in by midnight. I got to go. The roads are bad. They're only going to get worse as time goes on. They're melting and refreezing. It's too cold right now for ice or for salt to work. So we're kind of battling that. Please consider supporting the show. If it's something you like, you want to keep watching or whatever, this is a link right here that you can click. And it gives you all my other links. It's a Just Quick Tools link, and then you can use, if you use Dono Clip, you can record an audio message, buy me a coffee, you can type in a message, PayPal, you can type in a message, and I like to thank people when I come back. So use this link. You can donate. I think the minimum's like $1 on some of them, $5 on others, but you can donate to keep the show going. That's how I literally pay the bills for this. The disability, I'm a disabled veteran, so that pays for life and, payments and stuff. And then the office is paid for by you guys. The views, the likes, the shares, and the donations. So support the show if you want to at Just Quick Tools. Any of those links are secure. It's PayPal and 2 other donation links. And you can donate. Leave a message. I'd love to shout people out and thank them for the donations. And other than that, that's it. I'll try to be back tomorrow. We're not supposed to have more snow, but I don't think this snow is going anywhere. Hopefully the roads are clear by tomorrow and it'll be a non-issue. It's Ollie's birthday tomorrow, but we'll probably celebrate earlier. We had to cancel going to the Mexican restaurant. I had to postpone that to a different day. That's what he wanted to do for his birthday. So we'll see. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Mariah appreciates it. Kids appreciate it. Happy birthday to Ollie. And we'll see you guys on the next one. Have a good night. Maybe I'll make Ollie do a video for you guys to put it on Discord.
About if this douchebag happens to see this particular show, you don't have the fork
You guys can see my big 10-year-old.
by name and tell them exactly who they are.
Be a teenager in no time, man.
You don't have the
Wild.
balls. You don't have the balls.
Okay, Scott. Here we go. I think I started some shit.
If you don't want to support the show, no shame, no hate, no nothing. You're good. That's why I put the show out for free. Just watch, hang out, like, share, comment, hate, dislike, whatever. No big deal.
You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen nothing yet. And they say that I'm a lunatic.
Suck it, Bort.
Whip with a quick wit and a six.
Living the best life over here, Mr. Bort.
Y'all need Jesus. Praise the Lord and to the extreme. All these false fucking prophets who profit off of gossip. Worshiping drums, cocking, begging.
I wonder if Bort got any snow.
Fucking meat hammers like fool in a thong. He's strapped.
Both my Twitch and my YouTube live viewers have been going up, guys. So thank you for that. Keep showing up. Tonight's show is kind of thrown together, but sometimes we have like one topic we go into, and then sometimes it's just like, hey, what's going on in the world today? I still want to do the Jack Smith full testimony. That'll be one day when I can be here longer or come in earlier. Couple different things that I want to do this video, break it down, the whole video, and that'll be the main topic of the show. And then other shows, we just bounce around, weird people on the internet doing weird shit, like Bort. Or Eli, the pathetic patriot.
I used to find clues too when I was high on shrooms. I found myself a tunnel that led to Jason Q.
You new people, if you haven't seen Phil Godlewski, there's going to be a Phil Godlewski court update when I can get it all laid out and ready to go. He is one of the biggest grifters, like millions and millions and millions of dollars he's stolen from his elderly audience by convincing them that he is Q from QAnon. Like, it's insane.
What are you doing? Stop. Fucking stop.
He's also a pedo. Of course he is. And he's lost several court cases about it.
Damn it. Here we go. I think I started some shit. Piss them off. It's about to get lit. Get the place in the bench. You know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen nothing yet. Here we go. I think I started some shit. Piss them off. It's about to get lit. Get the place in the bench.
Bort, I just think you're saying Bort spent his whole show bashing on you and your audience. Oh, of course. He loves us. Thank you, Bort. Good night, guys.
Say it isn't so. Got him backed up on the ropes, trying to